I'm getting shades of that with Chad Kelly here. And so I am not convinced that Chad Kelly is ready. I think Chad Kelly will have a few games where he'll really, really play well and he'll show those signs that he did show in the Grey Cup. However, does he have the consistency playing like that? I don't think so. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CFL Central. CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And I know that the pre-intro we did definitely pissed some people off. I know it did. However,
we called it more than once.
However, I was right, goddammit. I was. We actually mentioned this first off. So that was from our season preview of the Toronto Argonauts. However, I guarantee you can find a similar clip to something like that. In the first 3 weeks of the season, we were talking about that. And then we were kind of like, okay, well, maybe this Chad Kelly guy, maybe he is here to stay. And for the regular season, he was. However, it's funny. I had predicted that one day, it would all fall apart. I did not expect that to be Toronto's first game of the playoffs, which would also be Toronto's last game of the playoffs in 2023. The Toronto Argonauts fall by a score of 38-17 to the Montreal Alouettes. The Alouettes will advance to the Grey Cup final, the 110th Grey Cup, and face the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, I'm going to ask the man that was in attendance tonight at this game wearing his Grey Cup jersey, not his Hamilton Tiger Cats jersey. That is the Grey Cup jersey for this year. How was that game?
Oh, let me tell you, that first pick six that Chad Kelly threw, I got so many deviled eyes staring at me, like evil eyes from so many Argo fans, because I'm just sitting there clapping and cheering. And also, you got to remember, this win is Montreal's first appearance in the Grey Cup in 13 years.
Yep. And this is also Montreal's only win against the Toronto Argonauts all season, and it was the only one that mattered.
The worst part about it is, a win tonight for Toronto, they would have set that record.
Set what?
For record? 13-0. Was it or was it 10?
What was this, right?
10-0 at home for the home record.
In the playoffs?
Like, for the season.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They tied the record, and then had they have won tonight, that would have been the record-setting.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I'm just gonna inform people now. This is gonna be a bit of a video of me and Rick kind of shitting all over Toronto. That's kind of how it is going to be. And the reason it's going to be like that is not because Toronto is a bad team. It's not. It's actually because Toronto is a very good team. Toronto is a very good team. They absolutely are. And that is the reason why. It's the same reason that when my Bombers had an embarrassing loss against the Ottawa Redblacks, no one was ripping them harder than me. Because the thing is that the standard that I'm holding your team to, I would hold to my own team. That is why I'm doing it. And also, it's just too goddamn funny. I'm sorry. This is too goddamn funny. Especially since you have to realize I'm someone who's scarred from this team because that team beat my beloved Bombers last year in the Grey Cup. That is a fact. It is a very difficult one to accept. However, that is a fact. And I do accept that. So because of that, Chad Kelly. Where the fuck was Chad Kelly tonight? And I have never seen Chad Kelly play so bad in my entire life. 4 interceptions. And although I do got to say, the funniest thing ever is that Chad Kelly after every single pick, the TSN camera pans to Chad Kelly, and the pure look of tomfoolery and disbelief on this confused man's face is just hilarious. Now, apparently, a lot of people were actually calling for Cameron Dukes to go in at like halftime or something.
Oh, they were. They were. So, no, it wasn't even halftime because they were only down by very little at halftime. I think as soon as they scored that 21 points in the third quarter,
yep,
is when they were booing them. And so it kind of comes back to last week's Montreal Hamilton game where they didn't play Bo at all until like 4 minutes left. This one, Dukes, ran in he got like a touchdown. He got like 2 yards rushing, and then they didn't play Dukes. Yeah. I don't know if you watched, like how much of the game you watched. Shinetti ripped Kelly, as you would say, a new asshole.
Oh yeah, he ripped him a brand new asshole. Yay, fucking wide. It was brutal.
He was saying that, I forget at what point it was, Andrew Harris walked over to Chad Kelly, put his coat around him, and was questioning Chad Kelly's leadership of the team, is what Shinetti said on the sideline.
Ouch. And I gotta say, this, it's funny. This Alouettes win is only good for 3 people. It's good for the Alouettes.
Hamilton fans?
Alouettes, Ticats, and Bombers. It's good for those 3. It's good for no one else. The reason is because Toronto's now in big trouble. And I don't mean in terms of the skill of their team. I mean attendance. Because attendance was bad this year. It was abysmal. Toronto finally gets good attendance. Half decent attendance. 25,000. Still less than the...
20.
What?
26,620 to be exact.
26,000. Okay, so 26,000 fans. Not even a sellout, though. Yeah. Not a sellout. 26,000 for a playoff game. The East Final. The biggest game you could possibly have that's not the Grey Cup. And this is after a season of where 14,000 people that came to every game watched this team win. And then finally, when it mattered, they lost. And so those people are there's probably some people that are thinking, I'm the only one coming to the game. No one else is coming to the game. Why should I come if I'm going to see us win all these times and it doesn't mean anything? That's a serious problem. No. Like this is a problem for Toronto. Toronto's attendance is 100% an issue. Now, it's an issue in the sense of, like, in terms of financial stability of this team, it's not an issue. It's an issue in terms of interest. The reason it's not an issue in terms of financial stability is that you have to realize that the Toronto Argonauts can lose as much money as they want. It doesn't matter because they're owned by MLSE, which owns the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they just got tons and tons of money. I think they also own the Toronto Blue Jays as well. MLSE. I could be wrong. Maybe
Raptors.
I'm wrong.
Raptors.
Or do they own the Jays or no?
They're part owners, but they do own the Raptors.
They own the Raptors outright. Okay, but the point is, this team when it comes into cash is just fucking rolling in it. They got all the money in the world, which means that, like, it means that if they lose money on the Argonauts, it doesn't really matter that much. It's one of those things, though, where it's more of just kind of a reputation thing. But it's one of those things where Toronto's they can't draw flies right now. They gotta learn how to get people in the building, and they're just not marketing the team there. From everything I'm seeing, for like when I was in Toronto, didn't see a single goddamn ad. Saw a billion Leafs ads, billion Blue Jays ads, not a single goddamn Argonauts ad. And that's on MLSE. They gotta get that figured out, get people to the games. But it's one of those things where a performance like this is not going to help. And you know what? If Andrew Harris is questioning Chad Kelly's leadership, he has every right to do that. Because you know what?
Some of those passes were right to the players.
If you can't, like, no matter how good you are, if you have absolutely no clutch, it doesn't mean nothing. If you can't play under pressure, if you can't play in the playoffs, that's a bit of a problem. And that's the thing. Chad Kelly did good when he went in mid-game. But being the man, being the man from the start, it's going to be an issue. Now, am I saying that Toronto should get rid of Chad Kelly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think Chad Kelly is not a guy that you just get rid of. I think he's a guy you work with. You know, at the end of the day, he got you that record in the regular season. I think you still roll with Chad Kelly. You don't just throw a talent like that away. You don't. You still work with him, try to get him going, and go back at it next year. And if the same thing happens, then maybe you start a different kind of dialogue. But I don't think they're at that point yet. Just mainly, if you're Toronto, keeping the squad together. However, we've talked a lot about Toronto. We do need to talk about the Alouettes here as well.
So this goes to prove my point that I've been saying all season.
Yep.
Regular season means nothing as long as you're not that last team in the East. All you need to do is just become the hot team in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And that's all you need. As some people were telling me, you told me earlier, this reminds you of the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, no, it totally did.
Last year.
This totally reminds me of the Boston Bruins, like setting a league record in terms of regular season performance, and then losing in the first round when it came to the playoffs. Losing to the first round is equivalent to losing to a game like this. And yeah, no, that's pretty much exactly what it was. But again, I do want to talk a bit about the Alouettes here. What did you think about the Alouettes' performance in this game, specifically the Alouettes?
So I'm going to mention a couple of things here, kind of going back and forth between both teams. So the highest tackler duo for Toronto had 5 each, and that was Royce Medici and Wynton McManus. Toronto had 7 sacks on Fajardo, yet Montreal still wins. Then you have Reggie Studfield, who had an outstanding game. And him and Beverett had 11 and 10 together.
Yep.
To me, I am nervous for Montreal against Winnipeg next week. Fajardo can't win a game unless either defense or Caleb Evans.
Yeah,
he can't even throw more than 1 touchdown a game. Then you go into the rushing tonight. Cody Fajardo had 38 rushes for the lead. The freaking lead on the team for rushing.
That's true.
Stanback had 9 for 15. And Antwitty had 3 for 16. Then you go to passing. Philpott only had 42 yards. Stanback had 39, and Mack had 36. As the lead.
Yeah, no, it is.
The only thing that will win them that cup next week is their defense. If their defense does not show up, Alouette fans might as well not even show up for next week. Because, Cody Fajardo ain't going to win you jack.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen him throw more than 3 touchdowns this season.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things where the Alouettes, I think their defense came up massively in this game. They absolutely did. And it's one of those things where it was a great accomplishment. However, if you're the Alouettes, should you be concerned? I mean, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think you were necessarily going to get this far. However, fucking amen. You got there. But it's one of those things where if you're the Alouettes, what's going to be key is getting some sort of offense put together that can do something to the Bombers. And the thing that I have to imagine has got to be the greatest goddamn fear for the Alouettes is that we have the worst offensive line in the league is going up against a team that made a very good offensive line crack 9 times. 9 times. 9 sacks. The pass rush for the Bombers tonight was unstoppable. And I think BC's got a much better offensive line than the Alouettes do. You know, maybe the Alouettes prove me wrong, but if I'm the Alouettes, I'm concerned. But the defense, if the defense plays as good as it did this game, the Montreal absolutely has a fighting chance. They do. Because, I mean, again, Toronto, Winnipeg, both very good offensively. Both have a very good, solid number one running back. Both have a very solid set of receivers. And the Alouettes were able to make do with that. But they'll have to do it again. And I'm not convinced.
I mean, James Letcher Jr., not Fletcher, Letcher, had that kickoff return this week.
Yep. Yes,
he had a punt return last week versus us.
I gotta say that's some of the most pathetic downfield coverage I've ever watched by the Argonauts, and I'm comparing this to every other touchdown off of a kickoff. It looked like they just didn't goddamn care. It looked like there was no effort. I was like, where's the effort? Where's the fight? I saw one guy run into another guy. Didn't ever try to rip or swim. He never tried to get around the block. He just fell over and died. He literally just fell over and died. And it was one of those things where it's like, wow, if that's all the fight you got in you, then no wonder it is the way it is.
And
that falls back onto Chad Kelly, like we were saying. If he's going to be the voice of the locker room, he's got to motivate them. It's just the way it is.
And not only did he throw 4 interceptions, they had 9 turnovers.
Yeah, no, it was not good. But, I mean, yeah, looking on the Alouette side moving forward, they got to get their
ducks in a row.
They got to get the offense going. They do. For their own sake. They do. But overall, I think I've pretty much covered everything I want from this video. Is there anything else you got?
All I got to say is, being nothing against Argo fans, but with today's win for Alouettes, I don't have to watch the Argos run out beside me at the Grey Cup out of our locker room.
Yeah, I was about to say, them being in your locker room was really the part that would have stung you. But anyways, I want to, before we end this video, I do want to say I'm a little sorry, Argo fans, for ripping into your team so hard. Would I still do it again? Yes. However, not gonna lie, maybe I was a little harsh.
The thing that kind of reminds me of tonight's loss is if you go near Ticat fans at a Ticat loss, we rip into our players, and yours truly did that multiple times this year to the coaching staff, not the players, but the coaching staff.
Yeah, no.
As soon as I left that stadium today, you didn't hear a peep from any Argo fans. Like, the Argo fans were pissed, like ripping into Chad Kelly. And then you go on to social media and they're just like ripping him a new one. It's like, guys,
but, I mean,
it's the conference final.
I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, you'd expect that out of any team.
Well, it's
worth its own 2 cents.
With the upgrade, well, I shouldn't.
And it'd be worse if it was
kind of upgrades.
Like, imagine if it was Saskatchewan that went on that run in the regular season and then flopped in the playoffs like that. Imagine that.
Like, a lot of fans, because we're hosting it this year, they told us it was Grey Cup or bust. Toronto had that amazing season record, whatever you want to call it. They were saying Grey Cup or bust. Now going into the offseason, Chad Kelly has that raise. You now have some players either retiring.
He's lost some negotiating power.
No, he's already signed his new contract.
Oh yeah, shit.
So he's already up in that 500K range. But with
Fucking
all
ain't good
that
for him.
money coming off, now you got to replace him with new talent. So it'll be interesting to see what Three Down Nation comes up in the next couple of weeks of who's their free agents.
That's true. Although the good news is that we're going to be all over that. Isn't that right, Rick? We're gonna
Oh,
be all over
you
that
know,
free.
you can bet.
Absolutely. We're going to be all over that free agency stuff, but we're not there yet. As this next week we have the Grey Cup. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure you guys watch our West Final video coming out later today. And also stay tuned for our Grey Cup preview, as well as the thing that Rick is most likely going to mention, which is the CFL Awards.
I wasn't just going to mention that.
Yep.
Those people that are coming to Hamilton, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you go down to James Street in Hamilton, there's going to be 40 bands over the matter of 3 days. It's free. It's a block party. Those are one of the events that you don't have to pay for.
One of them's Monster Truck. They're great.
Yeah, apparently one of them is Monster Truck too.
Fucking A. I love Monster Truck. They're good. They're good.
But a lot of people, you know, I'm not going to mention names, are going to see Kate. Because Kate's the host of the awards. And I will have a video.
Well, there you go.
On the awards.
So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Comment down below your guys' thoughts on this video, on the game, and just on anything in general. We love to hear it. So make sure you guys, well, take care. Till next time.